Yeah.
Gotta get their fast shot.
Yeah.
Gotta get their fast shot.
Hello Britball Nation and welcome to the Power Rankings following Week 8 of the BAFA Adult National Leagues. Before we crack on with the rankings themselves, remember that you too can contribute to the growth of the game by liking and sharing these videos, submitting highlights of big plays from the weekend, or help DC become sustainable by heading to gofundme.com/dblcoverage. We want to keep bringing you 7 days a week of all things Britball, but the reality is without the community support, we're counting down the weeks before we have to scale things back. All that said, let's jump into the rankings. Thrashers tumble a little, though through no fault of their own. This weekend's game against Oxford, however, is a crucial one if the Solent side have goals of postseason balling. Neither side has shown themselves to have an answer to Sussex, but they've both proven they're a match for either Ouse Valley or South Wales, so their head-to-head fixtures through the latter part of the season will be key.
8.
Oxford lose but climb a little as they appear to have figured out the formula for shutting down Thunder's playmakers, but couldn't get enough moves of their own on offence to take a clear lead. As such, they fall to the Sussex side for a third time this season and now have a lot of ground to make up if they wish to see playoff balling in their first year back in the middle tier. As noted, next up is a crucial matchup against an on-form looking Solent Thrashers.
9.
Rams win, but they made it look like hard work in the second half and thus slide a little in the rankings. Their 5-point win over the Vikings gives them the head-to-head for now, but there's a third meeting against Newcastle to round out the year that might prove crucial to the Rams season. Of course, this week all eyes turn to their Week 9 top of the table clash against the undefeated Manchester Titans. Manchester have looked dominant up to this point in the year. Might the Rams be the only team to rival them in the regular season?
7.
The Caesars continue their programme's perfect record thus far in 2017, sitting 5-0 atop of the NFC 1 South. Many will say, however, that their season is actually yet to begin, their 5 wins thus far coming against the as yet winless Jets and Bulls. Their campaign for the postseason truly begins this Sunday when they take on the Sandwell Steelers and face the high-flying Steelers and Falcons for 4 of their final 5 fixtures.
6.
The Olympians have notched up a couple of nice wins in recent weeks in a highly competitive SFC 1 East. They've got a bye before their third matchup against the Gladiators in Week 10, but it will be their final few fixtures against the likes of the Cats, Hornets and Exiles that really determine how the O's season ends up. From one week to the next, we could be seeing any of the top 4 teams in this conference make an appearance in the rankings.
5.
The Cats hold steady in number 5. Similar to their conference rivals, the Olympians, they've got the toughest part of their season ahead of them as they go on the road for 4 of their final 5 fixtures. There's potentially not much to separate any of the top teams in this conference, but a nice win from the Cats when they visit the Hornets in Week 10 could go a long way to convincing us they deserve their high ranking and make them faves for a conference crown.
4.
Thunder win but slide a little as they scrape through to victory with their late score to take a single point win over the Saints. At 6-0 and some of their supposedly softer matchups ahead of them, it would be easy to assume the Thunder have this conference locked up, but they'll want to return to more convincing victories through the latter part of the season if they're going to build up momentum ahead of the postseason.
3.
A shaky win for Sussex sees Sandwell return to the top 3. Sunday sees them take on the Nottingham Caesars and the Steelers will want to refine their groove after a disappointingly heavy loss to the Falcons in their last outing. That said, were they to come a cropper against the Caesars, and we could be seeing the rankings completely shaken up.
2.
Leicester stay locked at number 2. A nice win against the Jets and they'll follow up with a fixture against the similarly winless Bulls this Sunday. In the midst of a very cramped mid-season schedule, only 2 bye weeks between weeks 7 and 16, their focus may be on keeping key players healthy ahead of their crucial third fixture against Sandwell in week 10.
1.
And yet another comfortable win for the Titans keeps them enthroned in the number 1 spot. With an average margin of victory of 42 points per win so far this year, their biggest game of the season so far approaches on Sunday as they host the Yorkshire Rams, the only team other than the Premiership bound Wolves to take a win away from the Titans last season. In fact, the Rams represent 3 of the Titans' final 5 matchups, so a big win here would likely indicate the Titans are ready to lock up a conference title. And there you have it, nation, the rankings for Week 8 of the BAFA National Leagues. As always, we're really trying to start a conversation with these videos, so if you think we're not giving the team the credit they're due, tell us about it. Give this video a like if you like it, a share on Facebook or a retweet on Twitter, as it only takes seconds but it really helps us out in spreading Britball to the widest possible audience. The scoop is on its way for Week 8, but with some of the recent events we've had to add some extra bits in. And in the meantime, of course, as always, play hard, play safe, and make sure you check out details of the Jaguars Academy coaches for this year's camp shared on our YouTube channel. It's a pretty impressive roster.